Hey guys, welcome to Amy's Autopsy Report. My name's Amy, and this video is going to be a question and answer video. That's right, a Q&A video. I just felt like doing something different. As you can see, I am not upstairs in my room. I am down here. The lighting is much better, at least I think. I wasn't going to wear the hat either, just because I didn't feel like it, but then I realized that my hair just could not be contained, and so I had to throw the hat on. There wasn't any way around it. So I posted in a horror face group that I'm in that I was going to do a Q&A video, and if anybody had questions to post them. And I didn't really think I was going to get very many questions, but it turns out I got a bunch of questions. So I'm going to do the best I can to answer those and not ramble too much. So my dog is like growling at the window back there. Sorry. So here we go. The first question is from Tony, from Mr. Tony of the Dead. And hey, Tony. And his question is, what is one VHS you've been looking for but haven't found yet? Well, I've been looking for the Dead Pit for a long time because it's got this amazing cover that it's just so nostalgic. I used to see it in the video store as a kid all the time, and I've actually come across it a few times, and I've just missed the opportunity. Like, it's either gone way too high on eBay and I missed out on it, or it's just, I don't see it come up very often because it has a 3D cover, and the lights glow, like the eyes glow. They have like little LED lights in it. This is what the cover looks like. I have the DVD. But on the VHS tape, the eyes glow. So that's one I've been looking for, and I have not found. It's hard to find one that's in good shape. I mean, if the lights don't work, I could probably fix that. At least I'm thinking I could. But that is definitely one I'm looking for. The 3D cover of the Dead Pit that's like in good shape, not cracked and broken. Next question is Joe Manganaro from Joe Manganaro's House of Horror. His question is favorite oh my gosh, I had too many Sour Patch Kids, you guys, and I can't speak. Favorite VHS cover of all time, whether you own it or not. My gosh, that is hard. Gosh, that's a really tough one. I picked a few out because I couldn't narrow it down to just one. My favorite VHS cover that I actually do have is this one, and it is the Video Dead. And if you can get a good look at that cover art there, that's pretty amazing. This movie's pretty awesome too. I would say a couple of the favorite ones that I don't own. I do own this one, but it's a cut box and it looks really bad. But is this Video Violence, just because it's like totally 80s. With that, look at that VCR and the bloody hand. I mean, what's better than that? Another favorite cover that I don't own on VHS is Death Spa. This is hard to beat, this cover art, in my opinion. But if you're asking all-time top favorite, I'm going to have to go with the Video Dead. Like, look at that retro TV. I mean, this is an 80s film, obviously, and the zombie coming out of it. So that's it. I also have, I like those painted, the covers that look painted. And so I have just been also starting to collect Mexi tapes, which are Mexican movies, Mexican horror movies and action movies. And this is one I recently got, and I haven't watched it yet, but check out the cover art on this. That looks pretty awesome. Pretty sweet. Nice painted cover there. So hopefully that answers your question, probably more than you wanted to know. Okay, Christina from Pixie Willows. Hi, Christina. If you could be in any of your favorite fandoms, which would it be? So like a movie or TV show. Oh my gosh. I would probably say, I guess I would probably say, Ash versus Evil Dead. Because Bruce Campbell. I mean, we all know I love Bruce Campbell. So I'm gonna say Ash versus Evil Dead. That show is a lot of fun. I haven't seen all of it yet, but it's a lot of fun what I've seen. Sam from Halloween Happy asked me this question. Hi, Sam. If I had to watch one movie for the rest of my life on repeat, what would it be? You know, I'm probably going to say The Creature from the Black Lagoon. That is a film that I have loved ever since I was a little kid, and I've probably seen that movie more times than I've seen any other movie. So yeah, I'm going to say Creature from the Black Lagoon on that one. I love that film. My favorite of the Universal monsters, hands down, and definitely one of my favorite monster movies of all time. Johnny Tellez from the Hyper Geek Johnny says, what modern day film do I think would best be suited for a VHS release and why, and what would the cover look like? I have actually answered this one before. And there's really like, I'm going to answer it twice because somebody else, Jeff Soares, also asked me this question. So I'm going to pick two. The first one I'm going to pick is Hatchet because it's definitely in the style of the 80s slasher film. And that cover would be amazing. First of all, it would be a painted cover. It would have woods in the background because it takes place in like the swamps of New Orleans. And it would have woods in the background and like swamp in the front. And then Victor Crowley would be kind of like creeping up with his hatchet. And you'd see the water and, you know, various victims and stuff like that. That's what the cover would look like. Why? I think I've already answered that one. It's basically because it's very much an 80s style film, in my opinion. Gosh, you guys asked a lot of really good questions. Some of these were really hard for me to answer too. Jeff Soares also asked me if I own a camcorder. I do not anymore. Over the years, I have had a lot of camcorders. I had the oldest one I had was like the kind that the entire VHS tape fit down in. So it was like one of those gigantic camcorders with a huge VHS tape in it. Those are like definitely my favorite. I also had like a mini DV camera. I've had little film cameras. But yeah, I currently don't own any of them. Eventually, they just kind of all, you know, either got traded in for something better or they just stopped working or something like that. So, nope, sadly, I don't own a camcorder anymore. Melissa West asks, what are your top 10 favorite horror films? And what are my favorite horror TV shows? I'll do the horror TV shows first. Ash vs. Evil Dead, obviously, is probably my favorite right now. I also really like American Horror Story, although I have not seen a lot of episodes of either show. I just don't watch TV that much. My all-time favorite is going to be Tales from the Crypt. That's just one that I watched ever since I was a little kid. I was probably 8 or 9, something like that. And I love that show. That's an amazing show. I've always loved it. American Horror Story really, I feel like, pushes the boundaries of television, what television will allow. And I feel like sometimes it borderlines on where I could see some people taking offense to it, which I like things that sort of push the envelope and, you know, don't play it safe. And so I really like that show. I used to really like The Walking Dead, and I watched it for years, but it's kind of gotten so soap opera-y to me that it's like they'll have one episode where you'll see like these brutal kills and it'll be really gross and awesome. And then it's like 6 episodes of soap opera stuff. And it's like, I just stopped watching it like a couple years ago. So those are my favorite TV shows. Top 10 favorite horror films. This was so hard. I could do so many top 10 lists. I could do I could do top 10 zombie films, top 10 slasher films, top 10 B movies, top 10 nostalgia films. Um, so I kind of put my top 10 together based on a combination of films that I actually find scary and just a little bit of everything. Because so many, I have hundreds of horror films, so it was nearly impossible for me to come up with just 10. And so these are mostly going to be 10, just 10 horror films that I really love because I can't even really rate these. So one of them is Session 9. This film is creepy. This movie scares me. There are parts of this movie that creep me out so much, they give me chills. I highly recommend this film if you've not seen it. It's very good. Session 9, very underrated film. This film is kind of a guilty pleasure, but I absolutely love these films too, and that's Jeepers Creepers. I love the Creeper, and I actually got an opportunity to work with him, the guy who plays the Creeper, in a friend of mine's acting class. He was in the acting class, and I got a chance to do some makeup on both my friend and him for a scene they did in class, and it was amazing. He was such a nice guy. He was super tall, but I mean, that's not saying much because I'm really short, so everybody's pretty much tall to me. Next up, gonna go with Lucio Fulci's Zombie. This film is like one of the classic zombie films of all time. I mean, there's a scene in this where a zombie fights a shark. I mean, what? That's crazy cool. Zombie. Next up, we're going to be with John Carpenter's The Thing. No explanation needed there. John Carpenter's Halloween. I almost knocked you guys over there. Creature from the Black Lagoon. My favorite monster guy of all time. Candyman. This movie is freaky to me. This movie scares me. The Evil Dead. I love Bruce Campbell. I mean, I just love him. There he is. So, The Evil Dead. This movie is awesome. It's another favorite. Night of the Demons. Linnea Quigley is in so many good things, I think. And last but not least, this movie is a little bit more obscure. It's called Ghost Dance. And this one almost ended up in the VHS artwork question, too. Sorry, you guys. My voice is like totally raspy today for some reason. Ghost Dance. This is about, it's basically about these people that like mess up an ancient Indian burial ground. Which, by the way, if you have not watched many of my videos, I think at some point or another I have mentioned more than once that I'm obsessed with films about ancient Indian burial grounds. So that film is really good. I have a lot of fun with it. It's called Ghost Dance. It is I don't know if I can see the date on here. This is the VHS, obviously. Julie Amato is one of the stars of it. You'll have to look it up by the title and an actor because this movie, too, I don't believe this is on DVD. It's hard to find information on that one. I actually bought it based on the cover in one of the VHS groups I'm in, and I love that movie. It's just a lot of fun. So those are the 10 picks. Benny from A Killer Box. Hey, Benny. What movies should be left alone and not made a remake of? All of them. I think that it's easier to do a remake on a film if the characters are not like so iconic. I think that it's hard to do a remake of films like Nightmare on Elm Street because Robert Englund brought so much to the character of Freddy Krueger that you aren't ever going to find that in anybody else. Just like It. Tim Curry brought so much to the character Pennywise that no matter who plays Pennywise, it's never going to be as good as Tim Curry's. And if it's changed, it'll just be like it's not right for the film. So I think that like one film that I actually do like the remake of is the Dawn of the Dead remake. I think that's a great adaptation of that story. I think that a remake works better when you're not taking iconic characters. The Jason, Friday the 13th and Michael Myers remakes, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween quite a bit, actually. I did not like the Friday the 13th remake at all. And it might have something to do with the fact there was no Kane Hodder in it. I mean, he's just Jason. You've got to have Kane Hodder be Jason. Jason doesn't even speak. So it's like, get Kane Hodder. I mean, come on. Um, I think that classic horror, um, like Alfred Hitchcock films, I don't understand the point of remaking some of those films are in that time period. They were made for that time period. And when you tear them out of that time period and try to make them modern day, it just doesn't work. Um, so most of the time, I don't think they should do remakes. I think that there are plenty of original ideas to be had out there, and they just don't want to give anything a chance. So they do these weird remakes of things. So that's my answer for that. Graciela Barrios, my favorite VHS rental store before Redbox shut them all down. My favorite VHS rental store was from my hometown. It was a mom and pop store. It was called Classic Family Video, and it was not very big. It had like an upstairs version, and then you'd go right in the door, and all these videos were on the sides, and then you'd go downstairs to the basement. And the basement was like floor to ceiling horror movies. And me and my brother would go down to the basement and we would spend all of our time down there picking movies out. And there was years of time went by. I swear I rented Jaws 2 like hundreds of times. But that's where I saw all these iconic horror VHS tapes that are so nostalgic to me. And that's why I collect VHS tapes now. To regain some of that nostalgia. And that's why I look for specific covers. Some of those covers, that I loved seeing over and over and over are films that I never even saw as a kid. I saw them later. So yeah, Classic Family Video, little mom and pop place. It's gone. It's like now it's like some sort of thrift store, and I don't know. It's terrible. I wish it would have just stayed the same. Anissa Valenzuela. If I could make a movie with all of your favorite horror guys, who would be in it? What would they be fighting for, and what time period would it be? It would definitely be. It would probably be Ash and Freddy. Those would be in it. A lot of the other horror icons, they don't talk, so it would be kind of weird to have them in a movie where nobody was talking. You know what? This would be perfect. This would be perfect for this election year. It would just be called, like, I don't even know I don't know what the title would be, but it would basically be like Freddy Krueger and Ash fighting against the White House. And they are like trying to take out all the presidential candidates and like send the entire world into like anarchy. Yeah. That's the movie I want to see. Okay, Miko Romero, did you did you ever get annoyed having to wait for the VHS tape to finish rewinding before you could play it again? Yes, very annoyed. But you have to rewind your tapes. Rewind or die. Let's see, what else? Todd Condon of Todd All Things Horror. Hi, Todd. Todd's question is, what is your favorite hamburger? Well, I'm a vegetarian, so my favorite hamburger is from this place in town called Flappers. And they have this awesome black bean burger. And I always get mayo, pickles, onions, lettuce, tomato, cheese, jalapenos, and hot sauce. That's how I like my black bean burger. I can't answer it about regular burgers because I don't remember the last time I had one. So, let's see. Lylesburg asks, what was your favorite cartoon growing up, and what was the first movie I saw in theaters? Hi, Lylesburg. My favorite cartoon growing up, well, when I was really little, I used to watch Saturday morning cartoons every Saturday morning. and those were it was like the Super Friends, so there was like a lot of like Wonder Woman and in the League of Justice and all that. So I really loved those when I was really little. As I got a little bit older, I used to like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because my brother liked that. I also liked the Tales from the Crypt Keeper, the Tales from the Crypt cartoon, and Beetlejuice cartoon, but it had a really short run. So, but I was a little bit older, not old, but I was like not a tiny little kid when I was watching those. But those are the ones that I really like the best. Um, and I also like the Toxic Crusaders, which I'm kind of currently looking for some cartoons on VHS because I don't really have a whole lot of that stuff. And what was the first movie I saw in the theaters? I didn't go to the theaters much as a little kid. The first movie I saw in the theaters was E.T., and I cried. So, yeah. Tyrone Kendall asks, "Hi, Tyrone. If you, as you are now, were a slasher killer in your own series of movies, what would be your blade of choice?" Well, I'm going to go with a chainsaw because if I had to really be a slasher killer, I'm not very big. I'm really short, and so I probably wouldn't be very threatening. So I would probably need a chainsaw in order to be threatening. So I'm going to go with a chainsaw. So that's it. That's all the questions I had, guys. And I appreciate everyone who asked questions. I had a lot of fun doing this video. It was something different. I am happy that all of you had questions so that I could talk about it. That's it. So that's going to be it for this video. If you like what you see, give me a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have additional questions for me, leave them in the comments below, and I will maybe do another video like this if I get enough questions. So that's going to be it. I will catch you guys in the next one.